What is going on, YouTube land? So this video is going to be slightly different. Just kind of trying to play catch up between the last time or the last video that I recorded and now, because I ordered a few parts and then I got a bit ahead of myself because I really just wanted to get this car run right. So the parts that I ordered were the first thing, which is the most noticeable thing on the exterior of the vehicle, is I was missing one hub-centric ring for these wheels that came as like an extra set with the car. Because the previous wheels that I had, I think that they were reps. To me, and like, again, I could be wrong, they looked like either S5 or S3 wheels, but I think that they were reps because they were 18s, not 19s. And the only way that they were able to be ran was by running spacers on them. And the spacers that the previous owner had, I'm pretty sure were eBay spacers. Even though they were hub-centric spacers, I don't know. I think that they were crappy. So anyways, got the hub-centric rings, got all 4 of them, ordered those from ECS Tuning. And now I'm able to run 4 of the same wheels, no wheel spacers, just normal lug nuts. So that was a big improvement, and I think that it helped get rid of some vibrations, not all, because there's some things that I found underneath the car that I'll tell you guys about in just a second here. Additional to, you know, what we already know about the transmission motor mounts. The other thing is, so my N249, this hose, everybody seems to break this hose. Mine broke basically at the check valve when I was just kind of handling things. So what I've done right now is I have bypassed the N249. You can see that it's still secured here. This line that goes from, let's see, it goes into the diverter valves right here. This is going directly into the intake manifold. You can kind of see it underneath the Y pipe. And then this line right here is basically just routing into itself and then going into this vacuum line. It's actually causing a check engine light, so I am going to order this new hose. I saw you can buy the complete hose, but then also I saw on Parts Geek that you can buy just the check valve by itself, and I'll end up doing something similar to this. This is kind of ghetto, but it does work and it is sealed, so probably just gonna do some sort of makeshift thing. The other parts that I got, these are from Rock Auto. I ordered one coil pack because it was 25 bucks, and again, cheapest way to get this car running right. Because I was having that misfire issue still on cylinder number 2 that would only really occur at like wide open throttle and any RPM above, like, let's say 3,500 RPM. It would just stumble and it would fall on its face, and then it was causing it to go into limp mode. So replaced that coil pack, got a brand new NGK one. Supposedly that's the same as like OEM. It's just that it has NGK on it and not VW Audi. And then I replaced all 6 spark plugs because they weren't that expensive. I replaced them with the same ones that the previous owner used. They're just some Autolite, like $3 plugs that I picked up at Advanced Auto. One thing I found whenever I was replacing those plugs though was that the previous owner didn't gap them. Pulled them out of the box. I verified this by checking a plug I pulled and checking every single plug when I pulled it out of its box. Stock plugs were gapped at 0.038, and I gapped these plugs at 0.028. Because if I remember correctly, number one, when I had a 1.8 turbo, Mark IV 1.8 turbo, and I ran BKR 6E copper plugs, and I gapped those super tight because it was tuned and it just ran better. I wanted to pick up some BKR 7Es for this, but they're just, I would have to order them, and I didn't feel like waiting on them, and then they were like $7 a piece compared to $3 a piece, and I figured that these will last me long enough until I can get it running right, and then I can start putting some really good quality parts on this thing. So, moving on from that, moving away from the N249 and the and the coil pack. I was getting some faults for the N75 being bad, and I checked the resistance inside of the N75. I read on the Audi Zine forums that you're supposed to be getting like 25 and 30 milliohms of resistance. And it was at like 70. But after I replaced the coil pack and the plugs and gapped them properly, and obviously I had to resolder bank 1 Egt Sensor. This thing pulls like a freight train. Like, it's not like big turbo status, but a way that I know that she's pulling hard is because I ordered this boost gauge, which I like the boost gauge. I am not happy about this though. This is some crappy stuff right here. I hate it. You like put it over the cover and you're supposed to secure it with like 3M double-sided automotive tape, automotive adhesive. I hate it. I'm gonna be changing that up. Love the boost gauge. Support New South. I think they're a North Carolina company too. Hate the cover. Hate it. So I'll be changing that out. But anyway, put a new boost gauge, and I'll show you all. I'm not sure what like stage it is, but it hits 15 PSI and holds it. So this thing is tuned as far as I'm aware. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other things that have happened off camera. I'm fooling with this thing because it's receded. This is obnoxious. Yeah. Anyways, oh, something else. I removed the basically the stock cat back from the Y pipe back, and I put a dump pipe, and I'll insert a clip right now of the stock exhaust. And then I'll insert a clip of it doing a cold start and pulling out of my garage with the aftermarket exhaust and what I've done, or to show you guys what has been done. This is what the exhaust looks like now, where it collects after the cats. You can see our Y pipe here. We've got kind of a 2-to-1 setup into this little dump pipe. And then this is just a little hanger that I cut off of the resonator. And now I'm going to take you guys with me on a ride and kind of briefly go over what I plan on doing with the car now that I've kind of figured it out. And as I get more time, what I'll be able to do to it with more time and more money. And my actual real plans with this car. I've wanted one of these for a really long time, and I'm really happy I got this one because I've really fallen in love with this color and then how this car drives. hopefully you all can hear like well enough to hear the exhaust inside the car. I've got the AC on like super low, so the fan won't be like annoying. And I actually have like a mic set up. I'm not sure if you all can see that, but I was hitting 15 pounds of boost right there. So, man, I'm telling you, the first drive when this car was running right, I didn't have a boost gauge yet, even though I'd ordered it at the same time as the coil pack and all that. It showed up, I think, like 2 days after I'd done the coil pack and the spark plugs. So, man, it was pretty awesome to be able to experience this. The total dollars that I have into this car is still under $3,000. Like in purchase price and parts alone, mind you. So what I got with the car was a few additional boost hoses and an additional set of wheels. And the dude had done a lot of recent maintenance on the car. The guy I bought it from purchased the car. The clutch immediately, like, I guess, died. And then he had the clutch replaced by a shop, which I have paperwork for. It's like a ECS OE plus clutch. And then he upgraded the entire front suspension. I mean, he replaced all of it. A-arms, control arms, tie rod ends, all of it's brand new. And then he did the boost hoses. So the guy put in some good money, but he didn't have VCDS. He didn't even have a code reader. So when the car started being weird, he had no real way of diagnosing it, and he had thought that the turbos were bad because he couldn't boost, because like he couldn't get any kind of boost. And I knew that when I test drove this car, because it would be like in and out of limp mode, I could hear the turbos spooling. So like I knew that there was something electronic messed up, some sort of sensor, and I'd be able to diagnose it with VagCom. But as far as plans go for this car, something I was gonna bring up while we were in the garage that I was alluding to while I was underneath the car. I was looking at the drive shaft whenever I was modifying the exhaust, and come to find that something was slinging grease, and I was like, well, that's really weird. What could possibly be slinging grease? I thought it potentially was coming from the rear end. Do a little bit more research, a little bit more digging. Come to find out, because I didn't pull off the heat shrouds or any of that other stuff, and it was covered up. All I was seeing was grease on the like the drive shaft well or whatever. I think one of my CV axle or boot has died on the drive shaft. So, with the drive shaft needing some repairs, because I'm not going to do that underneath the car, I'm going to pull the drive shaft. I'm going to replace the carrier bearing with an 034 carrier bearing, or the God, I think I'm gonna mess up their name, like JHM or something. I'm gonna do their carrier bearing upgrade. I'm gonna do 034 motor mounts, transmission mounts. I want to do catless downpipes, but I want to have the appropriate tune for that. And I have a suspicion that this is an APR tune because the O2 sensors are not tuned out. So I'd really like to find out what kind of tune I got and then maybe get a different tune, but we'll see. I don't want to run catless downpipes if it's going to make the car run wrong. Another thing that I plan on doing definitely is the Egt Sensor deletes and the coil pack upgrade. Going back to previous owners, the dude I bought it from had told me, and there is evidence of it, the valve cover gaskets were done, and I'm pretty sure they were done right, and the timing belt was completed. And I can tell they use quality stuff because even the serpentine belt, it's a Gates belt. So I mean, like it's got quality parts on the car. Some would say I got a really good deal on the car. Some would say I didn't because it's a B5 S4. Obviously, it matters on your perspective. I feel like I got a really good deal. I feel like I've got a very good deal. Because the dude I bought it from, he bought the car, I think for like $3 grand, and he was only able to put 3,000 miles on it before he parked it, and then he put an additional $2,500 in parts into it. So I bought it for what he had into it. That's all he wanted out of the car. So I'll be in a bit of a different boat. I don't plan on getting rid of this car. Not for a long time. This car to me is a toy. I look at it exactly the same way I look at my four-wheeler. When I want to go and like have fun, this is the car that I'm gonna hop in. It's cool that it happens to also be a sedan, so that I can put the family in here if I want. I'm sure that I'll do more to the car than what I spoke about, but as of now, those plans, those things that I laid out, that's what I know I'm going to do. I have things that I'd like to do, but with being an adult, being a father, being a husband, you can't just dedicate all your time and money to one thing. You need to be all of those things. So it'll come. And then I also have other projects like the Cummins. I want to do a second gen swap on the Cummins. But anyways, that's a whole different subject and all that other stuff. If you watched the video this far, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Actually, you know what? I forgot to give you guys a sound of the exhaust, like revving it up once the car is warmed up. So let me do that really fast.